Hi, today I'm going to show you how I create a canopy height model using LiDAR data and global mapper. So first off, we start with 2 point layers. These are in LAS format. The first one is the model key points. Model key points are mass points. They are the same as ground points. It's just a thinned version of the ground points layer. Secondly, we have a vegetation layer. So the vegetation would contain the low vegetation, medium vegetation, and the high vegetation. What we want to do is we want to end up with a layer that's going to tell us how tall the trees are, and that is what our canopy height model is. So we will grid our model key points or ground points, and we will grid our vegetation layer, and then we will subtract the model key points from the vegetation layer to get our tree heights. I'll show you how to grid these point layers. So for the model key points, let's start there. Right click, we'll go to Analysis, Grid. Then we're going to say, OK, model key points. I'm going to leave all of these settings as defaults. You can set your grid spacing if you prefer, but for this exercise, we'll leave it as is. We'll say, all right. Okay, so there we go. That is our ground layer. We're looking at all the ground points here. I've done the same for our vegetation layer. It takes a little bit longer to run because we've got more points. And so I'll show you what the vegetation layer looks like. So there we go. And you'll notice that this looks very much like a digital surface model. So that's basically what we have here. We have our DTM, our digital terrain model, our digital surface model, which contains all of our vegetation points. So the next step is going to be to deduct our ground layer from our vegetation layer to get our tree heights. To do that, we go to Analysis. We say Combine and Compare the terrain layers. I'm going to rename this to Canopy Height Model. You'll say your vegetation layer, you're going to subtract your model key points. And again, I'm going to leave the sample spacing as default. You'll select OK. It's going to take a while to run through. I've already done this step in another layer, and I'll show you what the result looks like. There we go. So this is our canopy height model. The canopy height model, if I move over it, you'll see there's some spaces that are void. So those are white areas. And that's because that's purely ground points. There's nothing above the ground over there. I've changed the display so that we only see vegetation that is 10 centimeters and higher. So we start with 0.1 meters, and then if you move over, you can see in the bottom left-hand side over here that it will show you the height. And that is your canopy height model showing you the height of the objects or the trees above ground.